Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of ParaMindful. I'm one of your co-hosts, Melball Collins. Over on that side is Alex the Werewolf, and down there is the wonderfully talented Karl Alex. My boys, how are you doing today? Anyone, take the stage.
Karl, speechless right now at the wonderfully talented.
I mean, listen to that voice. It's smooth as butter.
Well, I prefer silk over butter, but
Hey, there you go.
yeah.
I like my butter with popcorn, sir.
True.
How
I'm
are
doing
you,
absolutely
Nell?
fantastic, though. I
Awesome.
mean, life is great. Life is grand. What more could I ask for?
Digging that sweater too there.
Right? Thank you, StreamYard, for the amazing merch that I was sent. I was sent a beautiful sweater as well as a like couch pillow. So thank you, StreamYard.
Swagga. And Alex, how are we doing today?
I'm really good. I'm working off a different computer because mine died, which is why the last video was very little edited as opposed to very lot edited. I got a new computer on the way. They're hard to find, so I have one on the way though. So I'm gonna make do with this laptop, which is very much underpowered, and then go from there.
Hey, it looks good with the background though.
This is my dining room art piece.
Fancy pants.
Yeah.
Looks like something La Llorona would just kind of lurk in a little bit.
Exactly. She should belong like right here-ish.
Right in that nice little clearing, yeah.
I should add it.
Yeah. Be a little Easter egg in your dining room. Awesome. Well,
how are you, Mel?
How am I? I am doing amazing. What day is it? I don't even know what day it is. It's Wednesday. It is Wednesday. It is hump day. We are halfway through the week, and my goodness, I'm looking forward to this weekend, but it is a busy one. It's WrestleMania weekend for all of us wrestling fans. We've got a lot going on, and everything kind of starts tomorrow when the Multiverse United show with Impact Wrestling and NJBW starts. We're not going to get on a wrestling tangent, though.
No.
Because this girl will go for hours. So that being said, we have an amazing topic that we have been waiting to share for you guys on this episode. We are finally getting into the Skinwalker Ranch. This is something that I myself don't know a whole ton about. I'm kind of going to act like a navigator here, asking the heavy, hard questions that you guys want to ask the more knowledgeable Alex and Karl here. So to start off, Alex, what is Skinwalker Ranch? Tell us about this property.
Skinwalker Ranch is a massive property in the Uinta Basin, and that's in the States. Oh, I thought Karl had his hand put. I was just checking his mic. I was like, yes, Karl, you have a question already. It is.
Where is the U.S.?
What's that, sorry?
Where is the U.S.?
Oh, where in the U.S.? That is a mighty fine question. What was it? It was whatever.
It's somewhere in the West, isn't it?
Why is it eluding me?
Me too, and I'm trying to take a look through my notes, and
I have it in my notes somewhere here too, and I don't know. Like, this is something that I know so much about.
We're off to a great start here on ParaMindful.
I'm blaming it on the computer. That's my excuse.
We will blame it on the computer. I mean, I'm going to assume it's deserty. So I'm going to assume it's somewhere in that western, southwestern, Idaho, Nevada, New Mexico.
I want to say, okay, so I'm going to Google it right now, to be honest with you, because this is ridiculous. It's part of the Wasatch Mountain, or east of the Wasatch Mountains in eastern Utah. Thank you.
Yeah, there you go.
And I'm like, what's that one? Anyways, and south of the
Uinta Basin, Utah, Utah. Yeah. Okay, sorry.
Makes sense, right?
Right.
Sorry, I'm clearly very well researched. So, anyways, it was farmland forever and a half until the 1930s. And in the 1930s, Kenneth and Edith Myers bought the land and started a ranch. And they ran that ranch for 60 some odd years until they decided to sell it. And they sold it to the Shermans. So Terry and Gwen Sherman, parents to 2 children, a son and a daughter. I know their names, but I didn't write them down because it's not really important. So the ranch became the Sherman Ranch. And this is where things started to happen. They are the portion of time in which the Sherman Ranch got the nickname the Skinwalker Ranch. So there's stuff that's going to happen. We'll get into that later. But so in autumn of 1994, the Shermans bought the farm off of Kenneth and Edith Myers. And this is where things start to get a little bit weird, because the purchasing agreement that the Shermans signed had little clauses in there. For example, the Shermans had to contact the Myers if they ever decided to dig on that property, ever, no matter what. 80 years from then, they still had to call them. You know what I mean? It's just very bizarre. One of the theories for that is it could be mineral rights, but I don't know how to prove that, because the Edith and Kenneth Myers could have kept the minerals on that land in case they found something. That's possible, but to have to contact them to dig something and put that in an agreement seems very, very bizarre.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
When the Shermans got to the house, it was very much run down because the Myers hadn't lived there for many, many, many years. So it was run down. However, the doors in the property had several deadbolts. Are we still with me? Okay. Mm-hmm. That's like, Mel, you just became a black screen for a second. Mm-hmm. Anyways, all the doors had... Yeah, it was kind of cool. It was very interesting because we're talking about skinwalkers and stuff. Anyways, the doors had a whole bunch of deadbolts on them. There were chains. There were bars in the windows. A whole bunch of things that seemed like overkill. So the Shermans just chalked it up to being like Kenneth and Edith being kind of like eclectic, weird people. But it'll all make sense in a little bit. I'm going to skip ahead and explain. Actually, maybe I shouldn't. I was going to explain who owns the property now, but maybe I'll save that for a little bit later because there's stuff that has to go with all that stuff. So for all intents and purposes, it is a large plot of land with several outbuildings and things, lots of corrals and things for cattle. The Shermans were cattle farmers. They were very good at cattle farming, and they chose that exact property because they knew that it would be good for their cattle. So, and we're not talking like 6 or 7 cows. We're talking hundreds upon hundreds of cows. So, yeah.
It's a ranch. There would be hundreds of heads of cattle.
Yes.
Yeah. Cool.
So that's basically the whole story of what it is.
The digging clause is very interesting to me because, as far as I'm concerned, as soon as I have bought something and it is now in my name, I don't need to ask you what I'm doing on it. So that's very interesting that was in there, and even more interesting that they agreed to it.
That's what I thought was bizarre too, and I think maybe that's why it kind of lends credence to maybe it was a mineral rights kind of thing. Like if, 50 years from now, the Shermans found that there's a large deposit of, I don't know, emeralds or something, they would still have it. Or ore or coal or something, they would still have the rights to that, what's underground. And I mean, that kind of makes sense as to why they would agree with that. It is. But it kind of makes sense as to why the Shermans would sign that too, because they were cattle farmers. They weren't interested in digging caves and you know what I mean. So they weren't treasure hunting. Yeah, I'm
But
just
then
playing
you'd
devil's
have to like
advocate. Try
put
to,
new fencing in or something to have to ask these people, oh, is it cool if we put a few more fence posts in?
no, I checked that. The fencing was okay because they're only
Okay.
going in like whatever post hole depth. It's not like here in Canada where you got to go like 4 feet deep, so it doesn't like
Mm-hmm.
frost. It's not going to happen there. So there's like, I mean, if you were to dig a hole and bury a dog, like your pet dog or something, your pet cat or something, I'm sure you wouldn't have to call them. But I actually read somewhere that they actually said that putting in fencing and all that stuff was okay. So I think it's like
Oh,
deeper digging.
well,
Excavation.
yeah.
Yeah,
Still
yeah.
seems strange to me. I mean, Utah, aren't they just kind of known for salt? Very
I
salty area.
it's
From
just
what I feel like
it's
that.
just a bit
Remember
bizarre.
on Ghost Adventures, there was that weird salty lake that they went to, where all that weird stuff was happening around. I feel like that was in Utah.
Salton Sea.
There you go. Yeah. Interesting. So, and then you said there were double deadbolts on the doors. Was that just on like the doors that were entering into the household, or that throughout the
Yes.
house?
Every entrance to the house had several deadbolts, which you would think would be safe, but you've just compromised the structural integrity of your door. So they thought they
Yeah,
were being
like
smart, but if I
several
wanted
holes
to
in the
kick open a door, I would kick open the door that has a whole bunch of holes in it, you know? So
yeah. And especially if you think that you need to put that many deadbolts on the door, clearly
yeah,
means that you expect a big foot coming for that door.
right. Right.
What's that
Like
door really gonna do?
to me it seems like almost like a time buyer. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I can unlock one door with my whatever, my lock picks or my magic or whatever it would be, but
Mhm.
to undo 4 or 5 or 6 would take me 6 times as long. So kind of like a shit. Somebody's coming in. Let's get out of here. That's how I take it. So yeah,
Interesting. Interesting. And then you said, Alex, that things started to get a little weird when
yeah.
things kind of when the next owners, what was it, the Shermans, the second one?
So the Shermans, yes, that's when things started happening. Now there's stories of Kenneth and Edith talking about weird things like seeing lights in the sky and that kind of stuff. But with the Shermans, that's when the proverbial shit hit the fan. So there is the first thing that ever happened to the Shermans was they were by a corral of their, I think you call them corrals, or are they pens for cows? It's corrals for horses, right? Whatever. They're pens for cattle. And they saw a large dog-like animal coming out of the it actually explained the type of tree at one point. Anyways, a cottonwood. It was a cottonwood forest that was on the edge of one of their portions of their property.
Mhm.
And they're like, oh, that's a huge dog. Must be a wolf. The wolf dog creature came to them very slowly, like walked towards them, didn't act aggressive. They said that it had striking blue eyes, gray fur, and was extremely muscular. So, I mean, take that as you will. I mean, I don't know what a muscular dog would look like besides a dog that has like, what is that, myostatin or whatever. Anyways,
Yeah.
I don't know
so
a
it calmly
dog that
walked.
has blue eyes.
I'm like the only thing I can think of is a husky.
Mhm.
But this is gonna play. I have a theory, and this is gonna play into the theory. So keep that question again.
Okay.
So this dog walked up to them, and they realized, holy crap, this is huge. So Terry and his son are both 6 feet tall, and this dog, animal, wolf thing, on its 4 paws, was up to their chest. So it's automatically super bizarre, and it even let them pet it. It even let them pet him. So yeah, the dog let them pet him, which is insane because that they're like, it must be somebody's pet or whatever.
Mm.
And when they said that, it immediately turned towards a small calf that was inside the pen and went and attacked that calf. And so Terry had a 357 Magnum and shot at it, and nothing happened. Shot at it point blank with a 357 Magnum, and nothing happened. So he shot him several times, nothing happened. So finally, the wolf creature just lets him go, like lets the calf go, and starts walking back to the trees, turns around, stares at them, makes eye contact. They said it made eye contact and it made them feel very, very weird. Now, by that time, Terry's son had ran in the house and grabbed his 30-06. For those of you who don't know, that is a larger caliber projectile, if you will, for a pew-pew. And it's designed for taking down like elk and moose and shit, like really big stuff. So he aimed at this wolf creature thing and shot at it, and nothing happened. He's like, okay, I was like 50 feet away. I don't understand. So he shot again, and he visibly saw flesh coming off of this animal, and the animal just this is the creepy part. The animal backed away, still staring at him, like it walked backwards until it got to the woods, and then
do that.
This is going to play into my my theory. So Terry and his son both. It's funny. My phone just went into Alexa, or not Alexa. What is it? Siri. That was weird. I didn't say anything that reminded. Like, sorry. I was just like,
what is it? Shit on this show, man.
It's really bizarre. So Terry Sherman and his son tracked the beast into the forest. They said that the ground was soft enough that they could clearly see his paw prints. And then all of a sudden, the paw prints stopped. Just stopped. They said the ground was still moist. You could still see the footprints would still be visible, but it was just gone. And after that day is when things started ramping up and getting crazy and crazy and crazy and crazier. So I have a theory that I was thinking of about this. Okay, what if this dog is the reason everything started? Like, what if this dog was in fact a skinwalker? Eyes are blue, very large, able to walk backwards, and just disappears. So maybe it was like, you can pet me. Let me see what happens when I attack your animals. Let's see how kind you are. And they blasted him with a 357 and a 30-06. I'd be pissed too. You know what I mean? So I just had that thought while I was writing my notes here, and it very, very coincidentally lands perfectly time-wise with everything, because they said after this occasion, shit went south. So that is the first event of hundreds upon hundreds of other events that have happened. So I don't know where to keep going. So I just chose the first event because I believe Karl has some other stuff on it. So
what year was that?
What year was that? It would have been 1994.
94. Okay.
In autumn of 94.
So the stuff with Alex is stuff that has really been like more the creature and more like paranormal cryptid type of thing that has happened since then, with, like you said, number of different cases being shown. Weird shit was happening though. Sorry, Mel. Weird-ish was happening though. Way before that, really starting and stemming in 1944, where it wasn't necessarily like an animal or cryptids or anything that people were seeing, but more things in the sky that people were witnessing. So really the first kind of case that's talked about is that 2 miles from Skinwalker Ranch, there was a larger silver globe like object that was floating over Fort Duchesne. And that was really kind of where things started with the UFO side of things, or the UAP side of things, which is kind of what I'm covering and what I'm getting into with this episode. So 1944 kind of started that. It wasn't really until the 1950s that the UFO or UAP sightings I'm just calling them UFOs because that's what I'm used to, people.
Mhm.
For sure.
UFO sightings really started to kind of pick up, right? Um, we're looking at Junior Hicks and locals actually reported a surge of cases in the Uinta Basin. Um, however, the ranch itself had very little recorded activity besides from 1944, 2 miles from the ranch. Um, things kind of slowed down in the like 1960s, but then in 1967 and 68, another wave of UFO reports came in from the basin itself. Then it kind of went mainstream in 78, where Desert News did an actual article discussing mass sightings of UFOs in the 10-mile area surrounding the ranch, not inside the ranch, but surrounding it itself.
Mhm.
Um, 1981, and this is something that I found really interesting. 1981, my birth year, by the way. NASA actually decided to build an observatory 16 miles northeast of the ranch. That only lasted 8 years. NASA's observatory was dismantled in 1989, and nobody knows why.
Hmm.
That
No
is
records, no
interesting.
reports have come out about why in 89 the observatory was dismantled. One of the cool people that Alex and I both listen to and very much so enjoy, George Knapp, back in
Yeah.
2005. George Knapp and Colm Keller co published a book for Skinwalker Ranch. It was called Hunt for the Skinwalker, which kind of introduced it really and fully to the mass public. We did have the article that just kind of came out in the Utah area in 78. George Knapp was able to kind of bring it out more mainstream to everybody, especially with, his hosting duties that he's had with Coast to Coast AM and stuff like that. 2005 also shared an experience of an extreme close encounter from a man named Richard Oliver, April Slaughter, and other individuals. So this encounter actually talked about harrowing experience in a 20-minute video that came out from April Slaughter, which is available on YouTube. And somebody remind me after this. I'll send you the link, and maybe we can credit that and post that in
Mhm.
there as well. She revealed the possibility of missing time, alien abduction, men in black, and the death of a fellow investigator.
Oh.
Interesting to note, at this time, the encounter was owned by, we haven't mentioned his name yet, so I'm going to mention it now, Robert Bigelow.
Bobby Bigelow.
So yeah, 2005, the ranch was owned by Bigelow at that time, and this is when this encounter happened.
Hmm.
I can clarify that. Bob
Yeah,
Bigelow bought the ranch off of the Shermans in 1996. The Shermans only owned the ranch for 2 years, and they sold it to Bob.
okay.
And Bob said to Terry Sherman, said, "Hey, you know what? You're a pro with this property. Will you stay on and be like a groundskeeper?" And so he did. So just to clarify,
Yeah.
that's when Bob Bigelow bought it.
No, and that's
I
perfect.
don't know.
I'm very
I don't
happy to
know.
have that info.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys know who Bob Bigelow is, though.
Yes, well, I kind of get into a little bit about
Oh, do you?
Bob
Okay, cool.
Bigelow in this as well. Yeah. So that was 2005. 2007 saw the AATIP, or the Advanced Aviation Threat Identification Program, become started, as well as the AAWASP, the Advanced Weapon System Application Program. So these were funded by the US government to study UFO objects on the ranch, fully funded by the US government, and it was all done in a secret investigative effort. 2011, so 2007 to 2011, AAWSAP loses its funding and is closed. All the evidence and files are transferred to the AA-TIP portfolio managed by Lou Elizondo. A-Tip actually,
Lou Elizondo.
yeah, he continues its study, with Bigelow being reported to have self-funded the continuing project at the ranch with his own finances because the
Yes.
government wasn't funding it anymore. So obviously we know that there's some ish that's going on there, especially if the government has now come in,
Mhm.
fully funded this project, and now Bigelow is funding the rest of it. Another interesting
I can,
thing. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
oh, I can speak on the government portion as well.
Yeah,
The
please.
government owned it from 2008 to 2010, and it wasn't just the government; it was the Defense Intelligence Agency.
Yes.
So the DIA, not the CIA, but the DIA.
Yes. So 2012, in February of 2012, all the power is knocked out at Fort Duchesne, where it was reported an eerie green glow came from the sky above the town. The sudden loss of power, a UFO is seen by multiple witnesses over the town itself.
Mm.
In 2012, getting a little bit further into Bigelow here, BASS is started. The Bigelow Aerospace Advanced Space Studies. Sorry, it wasn't started then. This is when it loses its funding from the Department of
Oh.
Defense. Yes,
Wow.
I don't know why I didn't have in there when it was started. I thought I did.
Hmm.
Either here nor there, it doesn't matter at this point. The AA-TIP contract expires and it's not renewed. And Louis explains that officials fear that the public may lean negatively about the program and potential misappropriation of taxpayer funds. So that's kind of why things with that were then done.
Hmm.
2016 as well saw a couple of recorded UFO sightings, and I wrote for myself notes of see below. So June 5th at 11:58:34 a.m. using an iPhone 6 Plus back camera with no flash being used in auto mode, they captured something in the sky that was moving around. Historical flight data showed no commercial or private air traffic was happening at that time. October 14th, 2016 at 1:40 p.m. using a Nikon D5000 camera, one of the better top of the line cameras back then in 2016. Again, multiple witnesses, and again, historical data for flights shows no commercial or private air traffic was happening at that time. So there is just so much different stuff happening around the ranch and inside of the ranch having to do with UFOs. 2017, the New York Times even did an article about the Department of Defense officially confirming the government had funded AA-TIP at what was said to be a cost of $22 million to fund that. And then in 2020, the
How much,
revelation
Carl?
$22 million.
22. That has
Yeah.
nothing to do with you, though, Mel.
Oh, sure. Keep telling me that. Well, guys, do you have anything else to add to this very, very long episode of Skinwalker Ranch, which we probably should have turned into 2 episodes, and we will probably talk about it again at some point because there's just so much detail that goes into this place. It's been on the planet for a hot minute, and clearly it's not going away, and there's still activity going on there. So
Yeah.
yeah, do you guys have anything else to add on this before we close out here?
I only have to add that Brendan Fugel guy has put Skinwalker Ranch on full lockdown. We're talking razor wire
Yes.
fences, blocked gates, no trespassing signs, cameras also.
Everywhere. Yeah.
It's top security right now. So that's all I have to say. But thanks, guys, for letting me chat my face off.
Has
I don't
something
know.
happened to make him do that, or?
I have no idea. He bought it, and it was like immediately. It was like fences up, cameras, no trespassing. Yeah.
Now, is that to keep people in or keep people out?
It's definitely to keep people out.
If you're going by the razor wire fences, it's to keep people out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they're angled outwards.
So I know, Mel, that you had said we should have made this into a 2-episode thing. Maybe we have figured out how to do that. Maybe we have split this episode up into 2, possibly in editing. Who knows?
Yeah, it's possible.
But, so when it was sold to Brandon Fugel, a number of the researchers and staff members stayed on with Brandon when he came and took over, and a lot of them, and so one of the guys there, the head of security, his nickname is Dragon. That's how everybody knows him. He's Dragon, right? And he was one of the ones that really came to him and said, listen, there's some weird ish that's been going on here that I'm sure you're clearly aware of, and these are the security measures that I think that we should be putting into place. And Brandon essentially went, you've been here longer than I have, you know better than I do, what do we need done? So Dragon really gave him, and here, this is what needs to happen, because they had problems with people trespassing, because Dragon's team had to literally go with their guns and remove people off of the property. And it was becoming such a burden on the security team and the security personnel that were there that they had just said, you know what, done with this. We need to put something into place. And thankfully, Brandon came in and said, do what you got to do.
I can also add a little bit of information. I totally just remember this. Robert Bigelow, so Bob Bigelow, when he sold it to Brandon, one of the stipulations was that he keeps the scientific staff on.
Yes.
So there's still scientific stuff going down there. And as far as I can understand, or as far as I could learn, I suppose, they are still being paid by Bob Bigelow. I don't know that 100% sure, but that's what I've read. But I have no corroborating evidence. I clearly don't have access to his bank account or anything. But so
now, I have a question about something one of you guys, I can't remember if it was Karl or Alex, mentioned at the beginning, that there was a death of a colleague or a research person in regards to Skinwalker Ranch.
No. So what I had mentioned, close. What I had mentioned was that in 2005, Richard Oliver and April Slaughter and a few other people had their own encounter. April gave her experience in a 20-minute video that she put up onto YouTube. And in that video, she talks about the death of Richard Oliver. Yeah, one of the fellow investigators that was out there. So.
Okay. Now, did he pass something completely different, or did he pass because of something that happened in this?
Wink, wink, nod, nod, shake, shake. We don't know. They say that it was kind of like he lived afterwards, right? So he was able to actually tell his side and his tale, but it's almost as though he wasn't the same afterwards.
Oh.
And yeah, so they can't really put it on his death was because of this alien encounter or not. So
I feel I need more detail. What happened with this one?
Go and watch the video. It'll be in the description box down below. You can hear April talk about it. And I do believe that after April's video, there is Richard's there as well, which I believe is more of a 50-minute video where he goes through and explains everything as well for himself. I found April's to be very compelling. And it was a shorter video that would kind of keep attention spans of most people nowadays. So,
Yes, because going over 30 minutes can be difficult nowadays. We say as we are looking at an hour and 10-ish almost minutes.
Yeah. Right. What I might do is I might cut this in half, and we'll go maybe like a 40 minute or something like that. So it might be a little bit shorter, but you won't know that because you'll be watching the first one, and you won't know that until the end. So that'll be right now, and you'll be like, they were shorter. So it just makes things easier for everybody. There's a lot to digest here, so
100%. More questions than answers. That's for dang sure.
Yes.
Without a doubt, yeah.
If we have nothing else we want to chat about or add, we should probably wrap this bad boy up. Alex, do you have anything else you want to add?
No, but I will keep you posted if I find anything else out about Skinwalker.
Awesome. And Karl, do you have anything else you want to add?
I do not. Stay tuned. Who knows?
This is definitely a developing story.
Yep.
So that being said, we want to draw your attention to our amazing sponsor, which is Rogue Energy. If you go to rogueenergy.com, you can use our promo code OLEPODS to get 10% off of your order. They've got an amazing lineup of flavors. My personal favorite is the blood orange. It literally tastes like you are eating a blood orange. It is amazing. Karl, we got an amazing video to show off all the amazing flavors that has the energy, the protein, the hydration. Let's drop it on the people. Such a fancy pants video. I absolutely love it.
It slaps pretty hard.
It does. The music is just great. Everything is just good job, Rogue. Good job. And Karl, you want to introduce us to our amazing merchandise. We got some ParaMindful stuff that we want to share with you.
We definitely do. Take a look down at the ticker below. You can see the website to go to. I shortened it up for everyone this episode. KarlCarafel.redbubble.com is where you're going to go for all the merchandise for ParaMindful. Right now, all we've got is the logo that you see up in the corner up there. That ParaMindful logo is available on hats, t-shirts, mugs.
Up above Alex.
Yep. Up there. Up. I can't.
Other side, Alex. Other side.
I see him right there.
Alex.
Other side.
Other side.
There, I see him right there. I'm just saying. Because my camera's flipped. That's why.
Yes,
my camera's. I was like, oh, it's right there. Trust me. It makes sense now. I understand.
So the logo on the other side of Alex is pointing.
I'm assuming here.
There it is. Right up there. That's where you can, get all that different stuff. It's KarlCarafel.redbubble.com. Like I said, whether it's hats, t-shirts, there are mugs that are there. There's travel mugs that are there. A plethora of different things available for you to go and
I was working on a bunch of new logos and stuff, and they're all dead now with my dreams and my computer.
So it will be a little bit before we get new stuff, but we definitely will be putting out, giving to you guys some new ParaMindful merch as well.
Some new spooky-ooky-ish.
That's right.
And of course, you want to follow our amazing friends at our local establishment. They are so great over there, shadow streaming all of us on Saturday. So if you're catching this on Monday, you want to catch it on Saturday on OLE there. You'll probably see some amazing other content on there, including Busting Out, Ring Radio Respect. Karl, Turnbuckle Talks, Raw Watch Along is always on there. So many great shows to check out. Definitely go check them out. And of course, you have all of us on there. You can follow our local establishment on all of our little trendy thingies down there. They're on Twitch, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. You can email them. They're on TikTok. We are everywhere. Come and find us. That being said, Karl, what have you got going on this week? We got the Raw Watch Along happening on Monday after ParaMindful. So if you're watching Raw and want to have some guys to keep you company with watching Raw, you can join Karl. You can join Chris Best. Sometimes Chris Parrish pops in there. You got how does he like his name? Because I've been calling him Dan the Man.
Dan works fine. He goes by OMD, the one man dynamic. That's what he was known when he was working in the professional wrestling business.
Tremendous.
Yeah. And then sometimes Bubba Duke Lewis is there as
Mhm.
well. So we got a pretty good crew of people that are over there. But you know what? We're always looking for other people who may want to hop in, especially. I wouldn't mind if there was a little bit of a female presence available as well. That might be a cool idea to kind of, maybe keep us in our reins, so to speak.
Keep you
Right?
on the rails as opposed to off of them.
Right. Very much so. Yeah.
Oh, this Melball needs to find a way to watch Raw, let alone how to be in the conversation with you guys. But we can figure out something in the future. I'm sure get some Raw watching ladies on there for you.
I would love it. I would absolutely love it. But
Call
yeah,
out
like
for the ladies.
so many different things that I do. If you have seen anything else, and you want to go back and take a watch, I've done some stuff with WrestleMania weekend that happened. And then Monday nights, I've got the Raw watch along. Tuesdays, I go live at 8:05 and I have Eastern time Turnbuckle Talk, where sometimes it's just me, sometimes I have guests on with me as well, and we just talk a little bit of everything within the world of professional wrestling. Soon we're going to be starting back up Beats and Beat Downs, which will come out, and then Bobby Munson and I are probably looking at another show kind of having to do with just music in general for our
Ooh.
local establishments network. So I'm a pretty busy guy when it comes to these recordings.
Excellent. And we love watching your content. So you've also done some unboxing stuff, which I really, really enjoy watching you pull everything out there.
I used to. If you take a look at my YouTube channel, actually, at some point, we're going to see my link tree pop up on the screen for you guys to all go and check out.
I was
You
gonna
could
say I have it normally, but I don't have anything, so I'm gonna have to recreate it. So we'll put it
That's
somewhere, I'm
perfect.
sure.
We'll figure it out. We will figure it out. If not, it'll be down in the description box down
That's
below
right.
for
That's
you
right.
as well. Yeah, I used to do the Pro Wrestling Crate unboxing videos on my YouTube channel. I have since stopped that subscription box because it's hella expensive, and I don't have the $400 to drop on it right now. So, but it was
Fair.
amazing stuff, and you can go back and check out the previous videos of that if you'd like.
Absolutely. And Alex, what are your plans this week?
That's a great question. I'm on call as of tomorrow, so I'm going to be working a lot. I'd love to say that I'd be editing super fancy stuff, but truthfully I don't know how powerful this computer is because last I used it was many moons ago. So that's why you can see it's kind of grainy, I suppose. So it's not as clear as theirs. So it's a little bit older, but it's working so far. I think we'll find out when we get the recording, but. I had a whole bunch of things on the go. I was going to put out a new Werewolf at the Movies movie review. I was going to put out a new Witch Cannon video. All of that stuff is in the ether now, so got to start all over, which is okay because sometimes redoing things makes them better. Sometimes,
right?
But I just wanted to say thank you guys for you two for I guess you guys are on this side. Because my camera's flipped.
Yes.
for understanding, because it was like definitely last minute. I was 95. Okay, it crashed on me twice, folks. 95% rendered, and then my computer died. I was like, crap. So I redid the whole thing, 98%, and died for like officially dead. And so I messaged these guys and I was like, listen, I got bad news. I don't know what to do. And they're like, oh, well. And then Mel took the ball and ran with it. And so I appreciate it. I appreciate both
I mean,
you
I
guys.
dropped it a few times and might have tripped over my own feet also, but we got her done.
Right. I mean, I'm going to just inform everybody. We have a backup plan of those little EVPs if something happens, which people have lives and things happen. I had one of those too, all ready to go. That's also in the ether. So, anyways, guys, thank you so much for accepting, I suppose. Yeah.
Hey, that's what we do here at ParaMindful. We pick each other up. We support each other when we need to. And that being said, Alex, if the ladies want to follow you on your social medias, where are they going to find you?
YouTube / so youtube.com/werewolf at the movies, or youtube.com/Weichi Uechicannon. I'm also on Instagram. I think I have 2 pictures on there now, but I believe it's werewolf on a bike. But there's 2 pictures already. 2.
And hopefully we'll start seeing some ParaMindful advertisements on there soon.
Yeah, I just never think about using it ever. You know, it's just like one of those things where I'm like,
send you on there. You'd think you would be inspired.
Well, see, I'm too busy watching your content. And being impressed by the quality of stuff you're putting out. I'm like, why do I even try?
We're not that good. We're not that good. But that being said, if you are wanting to follow a Melball on her social medias, you can find her on Twitter at Collins Melball and Melball Collins on Facebook, Instagram, Mastodon, and now TikTok. We got the tickety talk. We caved to you, little children. Hey, but I did pretty good with my first video. Over 500 views. I'm pretty proud of myself.
There you go.
You did super fantastic with your TikTok and creating a TikTok account that I think, yeah, it's going to be super simple and easy for you to create a Linktree account for yourself as well, which is totally free.
Please and thank you.
Sorry, where's your Linktree, sir?
I have 2 things, and I'm the one who edits it. So, but like it was legit to the point where I had created in Photoshop like all your socials, so I could just take it and put it, and it was brilliant. And now you know where that is? On my hard drive. I saved that on an external hard drive, so I still have that. Yes!
Wow.
I just need to add the TikTok.
It is not in the ether. Thank goodness. No more ethers.
No. On lockdown.
And that being said, we are coming to the end of our show here. I am Melball Collins. Over there is Alex the Werewolf, and down there is the man with the sexy voice, Karl Alex.
What are you trying to say? I don't have a sexy voice?
What?
Are you trying to say I don't have a sexy voice? Come on now. I got the beard though, I guess. That's fine. That's fine. No worries.
Yeah.
One of you got the manicured beard, one of you got the sexy voice. And that being said, we will see you next time. Keep it spooky.